Hi there. It's Friday. You know what that means? Live and direct from the Frank Beck Chevrolet Studio Annex. This is another edition. There you go. Run on cue. Another edition of Time Out Overtime on the Time Out Overtime YouTube channel. I'm your host, Rick Arsenal, and you know the drill by now. First of all, thank you so much for watching and listening. But if you haven't done so yet, please get down there in that corner and smash that like and subscribe button. You'll never know how grateful I am to you for doing that. Thank you. We got a lot to discuss, so little time to do it. So without further ado, let's get right into it. I'll get you caught up here on what's going on. First of all, a belated happy birthday to AJ Hinch. His birthday was yesterday. So happy birthday to him. He was born on May the 15th of 1974. You figure out how old he is. I'm not going to tell you. Okay, NBA and NHL playoffs. Big game tonight at Madison Square Garden between the Knicks and Celtics. Knicks are up 3-2, and it's my understanding that the tickets for this game, hang on, are record-setting ticket prices to get a ticket to this game to the Garden tonight. And I have no doubt that's fact. But then when was the last time the Knicks were this far into the playoffs? And they have to be feeling some pressure too. They have to be feeling some pressure tonight, the Knicks do, because obviously I'm sure they realize if they were to lose tonight, that would get them back to a game 7 in Boston, which would be on Monday night, and they don't want to do that. I'm rooting for the Celtics. I hope they win the next two. Given what transpired between the Pistons and Knicks, I'm rooting for the Celtics. But I can, Tom Thibodeau, the coach of the Knicks, if they were to lose tonight and then lose again on Monday, the press would, we'll talk about it maybe tomorrow morning with Andy if he has the time. The press would run him right out of town. I can promise you that. I can see the headlines in all those tabloids in the New York papers. Choke job. Boy. And not only that, you'd have to face a very dejected Spike Lee on top of that. And Stephen A. Smith, who, if you've noticed lately, Stephen A. Smith is everywhere on TV. I don't see anything wrong with that. He's much in demand. Yeah, sure, he's got an ego, but who doesn't? I like Stephen A. Smith. I like his shtick. I like his mannerism. So nothing wrong with that. But anyway, Celtics Knicks tonight, game 6. Last night, the Nuggets did beat the Thunder 119-107. So that series is tied at 3 games apiece. I still think next game is back in OKC. I think the Thunder are going to win that. I said I think the Thunder would win that, but it wouldn't surprise me to see Denver win that game either. Okay. On Wednesday night, Golden State was eliminated. The Timberwolves took them out 120-110. They win that series 4-1. And the Pacers earlier in the week eliminated Cleveland. We talked about that the other day. And the T-Wolves, as I said, are in. So essentially where we're at right now in the NBA, we know that the Minnesota is in the Western Finals. And their game 1 will get underway on Tuesday. And obviously they will either be playing the Thunder or the Nuggets. And then over in the East, the Pacers will be playing Wednesday night, the first game of the Eastern Finals. And obviously, they'll either be playing the Knicks or the Celtics. So that's where you're at right now. In the NHL tonight, Toronto's at Florida. The Panthers have a 3-2 lead in that one, so they'll be looking to close out the Maple Leafs and punch their ticket to the Eastern Finals. Last night, the Winnipeg beat Dallas 4-0, but Dallas still has a 3-2 lead in that series. Game 7 will be tomorrow. And the Oilers, Wednesday night in overtime, eliminated Vegas with a 1-0 win in overtime. They win that series 4-1. And last night, the Carolina Hurricanes eliminated the Washington Capitals with a 3-1 win. They win that series 4-1. So just to recap now in the NHL, we know that the Carolina Hurricanes are in. They're just waiting to see who they're going to play, and that'll either be Toronto or Florida. That series gets underway next week, and we know Edmonton is in, having won their series over Vegas. That'll get underway next week to the Western Finals. They'll either be playing, of course, Winnipeg or Dallas. Like I said, their game 7 is tomorrow night. To see who will be playing next week in the Western Conference Finals for the right to play for Lord Stanley's Cup, better known as the Stanley Cup Finals, of course. Is there any more popular trophy in sports than the Stanley Cup? No, there's not. Really not. No, there isn't. Okay, before we go any further here, let's get these commercials out of the way. Wet the whistle. And here we go. 0% financing is back at Frank Beck Chevrolet. Pass the word. 0% financing. I repeat that. 0% financing is back at Frank Beck Chevrolet through the end of this month. Through the end of May. You get 0% for 48 months on 5.3 liter or TurboMax Chevrolet Silverados, plus an additional $3,500 in total cash allowance. The all-new Equinox is available at 2.9% financing with no payments for the first 90 days, or the 1.9% financing on 2025 Blazers. Repeat that then. The all-new Equinox is available at 2.9% financing with no payments for the first 90 days or 1.9% financing on 2025 Blazers. Check out the great selection of pre-owned vehicles, all priced to move, by the way. And this is good advice. If you're planning on driving on vacation this summer, get in there and let the pros in the service department double check your vehicle and make sure you're ready to go. You're good to go for the road. Very good idea. Get in there. You're taking a vacation somewhere around this great country of ours. Get your vehicle in there and let them check it out, and to make sure your car is good to go so you don't have any problems when you're out there on the road. That's great advice, I think. Yeah. Frank Beck Chevrolet on M99 between Hillsdale and Jonesville, or on the web at frankbeckchevy.com. You get in there and let them help you experience the Frank Beck difference. Chevrolet together. Let's drive. Chevy Drive, Southern Michigan. And of course, Frank Beck Chevrolet is indeed the #1 Chevrolet dealer in our tri-state area. We're also sponsored in part by Barrett Insurance. That's BarrettINS.com, protecting your dreams. Barrett Insurance on the corner of M99 and US 12 in Jonesville, in downtown Jonesville. 517-849-1000. BarrettINS.com. 517-849-1000 on the corner of M99 and US 12 in Jonesville, where this week they're having Riverfest. Anyway, Barrett Insurance, BarrettINS.com, protecting your dreams. Pitching matchups for this weekend's Tiger Series against the Blue Jays. Here we go. You know who's pitching tonight for the Tigers? Jack Flaherty, who's 1-5 with an ERA of 4.61, and his last 3 or 4 starts has been doing nothing but pitching batting practice. Last time against Texas last weekend, didn't get out of the 3rd inning, gave up 4 home runs. It was ugly. Let's hope this guy, with the help of his pitching coach, has gotten this thing turned around. Boy, it hasn't been good, and I have my see what happens tonight. Toronto comes in having lost a series that they just played in Tampa, lost 2 out of 3 to the Rays. So maybe Chris Better can get him turned around. Well, let's hope. Anyway, he's going to be opposed tonight by Bowden Francis, right-hander for the Blue Jays. He's 2-5 with an elevated ERA of 5.40. Tomorrow afternoon, then Reese Olson's going for the Tigers. He's 4-3 with an ERA of 3.38. He will be opposed by good old TBD. In other words, the Blue Jays don't know who's pitching tomorrow. And then again on Friday afternoon to close out the series, Jackson Jobe 3-0 with an ERA of 4.32 will be going up against Jose Berrios. Berrios is just 1-1 with an ERA of 4.33. He's also a right-handed pitcher. ESPN came out yesterday with their weekly for, I think, week 7 now. We're into week 7 of Major League Baseball with their week 7 power rankings. Not quite sure about this. Anyway, I'll tell you what they are here. The Dodgers are number 1. Mets, they got them ranked number 2. Tigers ranked the 3rd best team in MLB. San Diego 4th. The Yankees are 5th. Phillies 6. Cubs 7, Giants 8, Mariners 9, and I can't see this. They got the Guardians. The Cleveland Guardians, the 10th best team in the major leagues. I don't see that. I really don't. What are the Guardians right now? They're a minus 14 in run differential. I don't know how their record is as good as it is right now. I just don't know. They're 24th. With a team batting average of 233, they're 24th. Whereas the Tigers' team batting average is 261, and they're 5th. They're tied for 5th with a team batting average of 261. They're 4th in runs scored at 244. The Royals. That's interesting. The Royals are doing it with pitching right now. Now, the Tigers in home runs are 6th in home runs with a team total of 56. They're 6th. Okay, you got to go all the way down to the last number 30. That's the last team on the bottom of this home run. That's the Royals are down there, folks, with a team total of 29 home runs all year. On the other end of the ledger, the Royals are 2nd in team ERA at 3.03. So while they don't hit much, you can't hit a lick. They've got the 2nd best pitching staff in Major League Baseball right now. That's how they're doing it. But I don't know. As far as the Guardians, the 10th best team in Major League Baseball, I'm sorry, I just don't see that. In fact, the team they're playing tonight, you talk about run differential. As I said, the Guardians are 21. They're 21 ranked in run differential with minus 14. And the Blue Jays come in right behind them. They're 22 with a minus 27. What does this all mean? Well, I suppose it all means if pardon my English, I'll say this just once. So excuse me for saying this, but if Jack Flaherty can get his shit together and pitch a good game tonight, maybe they'd have a shot at taking 2 out of 3, or maybe sweeping the Blue Jays. But it all depends on what Jack Flaherty does tonight. It's always good to win the first game of any series. So let's see what happens tonight. I don't have a very good feeling about this, but we'll see. This quickly, let's get this out of the way first quickly, and then we'll close out with a couple of more things here. Miggy, you still with me? Okay. Tim Lindley, Quality PC, downtown Hillsdale. We wouldn't be doing this show without his help and assistance. 37 Walden Street in downtown Hillsdale. That's directly across the street from Fat Jack's Automotive. Any technical issues you have at all, get in there and see Tim or one of his staff members. 517-610-5372. This is the only place in our area to go for technical assistance. They can pretty much take care of any issue you have. Computers new or used, flat screen TV mounting, programming. Perhaps you're changing internet providers. You need that installed. Printers, anything at all. Get in there, please, folks. Get in there. This is the only place to go for technical assistance in our area. 37 Walden Street in downtown Hillsdale. 517-610-5372. Quality PC. 517-610-5372. Or better still, get in there and see them at 37 Walden Street across from Fat Jack's Automotive. That's a couple hundred feet west of Howell. Get in there and see them. When you do, please tell them Mickey and I sent you. Will you please? Thank you very much. Lions. We'll talk more about their schedule, I think, on Monday. We do know this. It's the toughest road schedule in the history of the NFL. Briefly, maybe we can talk about this a little bit tomorrow morning with Andy on timeout. Las Vegas, people in Las Vegas, when the schedule came out, they put out a point spread for every team's total, all 17 games. In other words, all 32 teams in the National Football League. As soon as the schedule came out, Las Vegas predicted a point spread for all 17 games for every team. And I can't tell you without going into a great bit of detail about this, that they, in 12 of their 17, Lions are favored. Lions are favored in 12 of their 17 games. And that includes, I don't think they're favored. I think the Packers are slight favorites in the opener. In fact, last time I looked, they were anyway. Of course, that can change, but right now, in spite of that, in spite of the fact that the Lions are favored, according to Las Vegas, favorites to win 12 of their 17 games, their win total is 10.5. Buffalo, throw that in there too. They're favored to win all 17 of their games, but their over-under is just 11.5. So it's kind of funny the way that we're talking about more of that maybe tomorrow morning with Andy or possibly on Monday. I wanted to get this along to you too. Before we cut out of here and head out on our weekend, I want to get this out to you too briefly. The second jewel of the Triple Crown will be run tomorrow in Baltimore at Pimlico. The Preakness. Kentucky Derby winner Sovereignty will not be taking part in that. He will not be racing tomorrow. You may or may not have heard this. The jockey who rode Sovereignty to victory in the Derby has been fined and he was suspended. Junior Alvarado, the jockey who rode Sovereignty to victory in the 2025 Kentucky Derby, was fined $62,000 and suspended for 2 racing days due to excessive use of the riding crop or his whip during the race. Now here's the breakdown. The violation, Alvarado used his whip 8 times, exceeding the permitted maximum of 6 strikes according to the Horse Racing Integrity and Safety Authority. It probably had the backing of the SPCA too on that, I would think. The penalty, he was fined $62,000, which was doubled due to a prior offense within the past 180 days. He received a 2-day suspension from racing scheduled for May 29th, 30th of 2025. His response, what was his response? He acknowledged exceeding the limit, but claimed he wasn't focused on counting the strikes in the heat of the moment. I can understand that. I can perfectly understand that. In essence, he was penalized for violating the rules regarding the number of times a jockey can use his whip during a race. My only question about that is if he did something illegal, and he was the one riding the horse, why wasn't the horse disqualified? That's what I don't understand. I'll leave you with that thought. I'll leave you with that thought. Anyway, I wanted to pass that on to you. That's going to do it for us. Talk to you again. Make sure you're listening tomorrow morning from 9 to 10 here locally on WCSR 92.1 FM. Time Out with Andy Brown. And I will talk to you all again on Monday. And I guess we can, after today, we can say goodbye to 80 degrees for the rest of the month because it's going to be a dramatic cool off for the next couple of weeks. That's fine with me. Okay. That's going to do it. Like I said, have yourselves until Monday, then have yourselves a great weekend. Remember, please treat each other with respect. Thanks so much for watching and listening. So until Monday, like I said, have a great weekend, everybody, and take care. Monday. Bye-bye.